In previous weeks, we explored key sustainability frameworks: CSR, ESG, and the triple bottom line, TBL, while discussing how leadership influences the successful implementation of these frameworks. Now, we'll build on that knowledge by focusing on how to integrate these frameworks into a cohesive strategy that drives long-term responsible business practices. Let's first revisit corporate social responsibility, CSR, one of the earlier sustainability frameworks, which encourages businesses to think beyond profits. Carroll's CSR Pyramid 1991 breaks CSR into 4 levels: economic, legal, ethical, and philanthropic responsibilities. Each layer represents a different level of responsibility that a business owes to its stakeholders. Economic responsibility, for instance, reminds us that businesses need to be profitable to sustain operations. But profitability must be balanced with the company's legal and ethical obligations. For example, companies like Unilever have embedded CSR into their operations by setting targets that reflect both ethical and financial goals. CSR helps guide businesses to engage responsibly with society, but it is sometimes considered broad. In recent years, companies have turned to environmental, social and governance, ESG, to create measurable outcomes. ESG criteria offer a more quantifiable way to assess a company's sustainability efforts, often used by investors to gauge risk and long-term value. For instance, an investment firm might assess a company's environmental impact by evaluating carbon emissions, or the company's governance by how it promotes ethical practices within its leadership structure. Companies with high ESG scores tend to perform better financially over the long term. Gysi et al. 2019 show that companies that rank well on ESG metrics generally demonstrate lower volatility and higher resilience in challenging markets. A great example is Patagonia, a company known for its commitment to environmental sustainability. Patagonia not only meets the E in ESG, but also ranks highly in its social and governance practices, reflecting transparency, employee well-being, and ethical governance. The third key framework is the triple bottom line, TBL. Elkington, 1997, introduced this model to encourage businesses to focus equally on 3 essential elements: people, planet, and profit. It asks businesses to balance their economic success with their social and environmental impact. For example, a company using the TBL model will not only look at their profit margins, but also how they impact local communities and the environment. A leader implementing TBL will ensure that their operations address sustainability goals in ways that balance all 3 areas. With these frameworks in mind, a key challenge for leaders is finding ways to synthesize them into a single, cohesive strategy. It's not enough to focus on one framework at a time. CSR, ESG, and TBL must work together, complementing each other. Leadership plays a central role in balancing the goals and principles of these frameworks. Successful integration involves strategic decision-making that brings ethical considerations and measurable outcomes into alignment with profit-making objectives. As we discussed in Week 2, ethical leadership is critical in ensuring that these frameworks are implemented responsibly. Ethical leaders make decisions based on fairness, integrity, and accountability, ensuring that a company's strategies don't exploit one stakeholder group to benefit another. Transformational leadership, which we also explored in Week 2, helps motivate teams to achieve long-term sustainability goals by creating a shared vision that aligns with these frameworks. A successful sustainability strategy often involves aligning these frameworks with the UN Sustainable Development Goals, SDGs. The SDGs provide a global framework for businesses to tackle issues like climate change, inequality, and sustainable consumption. For instance, Goal 13, climate action, urges businesses to reduce their carbon footprint, while Goal 12, responsible consumption and production, encourages companies to find sustainable ways of producing goods. These goals complement the integration of CSR, ESG, and TBL. As you prepare for your final project, reflect on how you will integrate CSR, ESG, and TBL into your sustainability strategy. Consider how the leadership qualities of ethical and transformational leadership can help you navigate the complexities of balancing these frameworks with business objectives. What steps will you take to ensure that your strategy addresses people, planet, and profit equally? This week's interactive task will give you an opportunity to practice synthesizing these frameworks, which will prepare you for your final submission. Thank you for watching this lecture. In our next session, we will focus on how blockchain and other technologies can support sustainability strategies, enhancing transparency and accountability.